Next delegate up is Linus Conrad, who will deliver his speech titled How to Live Emotionally and Ecologically Sustainable. So excited, Conrad. Linus Conrad, please welcome to the stage.
Hello. Oh God.
We can see you and hear you. Go ahead.
Great. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Wallenstein, which is sadly not here because she left. I'd like to thank the organizing team, and I'd like to thank all the people that came, and also all the previous speakers. So a bit about me, and to understand why I chose this. My name is Linus. I'm 18. I'm a student. And you probably are thinking to yourself at this point, what does an 18-year-old student has got to offer me? Because some of you are 20, some of you are older, some of you have studied, some of you are still professionals in your field of work. The very simple answer is, I can teach you. I can't teach you anything, but I can tell you something, and why I chose it. For me, I chose this because 3 years ago, something very important changed my life. And that is why I want to talk about living ecologically as well as emotionally sustainable. So first and most foremost, everyone has heard about ecological sustainability, right? Can I get a show of hands? I see some hands. I see some. Come on. Who's heard about living sustainable? Quite a lot. So, but who has heard about living emotionally sustainable? I see no hands on that. Yeah. So you might be thinking to yourself, what do these two themes have in common? What do ecological sustainability and emotional sustainability have in common? How do they coincide with one another? And for that, I'd like to talk about what, first and most foremost, emotional sustainability for us brings us and what actually causes emotional sustainability. First and most foremost, emotional sustainability, for me, what I have discovered is that you are sustainable with your happiness, with your emotions, that you aren't always tired all the time, and that you can do your job all the entire time. So with that being said, we first have to discuss, okay, what creates emotional sustainability? And I have thought about it, and I've come up with a triangle of sorts. It's called ESD. It's for exercising, sleeping, and dieting. You may not like it, but you've got to keep yourself mentally fit in order to be physically fit. And with that being said, you have got to go outside for a walk, 30 minutes. You've got to take care of yourself, meaning you have got to exercise. You've got to sleep. Don't butcher your sleep. Your body will remember it. And especially sleeping ecologically and organically is very helpful for that. Exercising strengthens not only your immune system and your body, but also your self-confidence, and helps you achieve a greater body because you can visibly see the results after every single time. And if you can quit, if you can go to your, and if you can go to your job by foot, you should do it. Great exercise. But also diet. Very important criteria, if I might add. Some of you may have heard the sentence, "You're what you eat." I believe a lot of people know that quote. It's from Anselme Brillant-Savarin, a French lawyer and gastronome critic in 1826. And he said it with regards to, if you eat very good, then you live very good, and then you're emotionally very good. Usually speaking, this isn't really, this is very right. But specifically speaking on what exactly eating good means hasn't been really talked about all that much, at least from what I've read. And for instance, eating good means that you have got to curb on alcohol consumption, because alcohol not only is bad for yourself and also cause you to become depressed. And studies have shown that throughout 2020, throughout the entire lockdowns, that alcoholism has gone up way through the roof. And I believe in my mind that this is very sad, but that also thereby the carbon emission through alcohol has also gone up way through the roof, because you produce roughly 1.3 kilograms of alcohol for roughly a kilogram of, you produce 1.3 kilograms of carbon emissions through 1 kilogram of alcohol. So you also have got to curb on your meat consumption, because meat in and of itself, it is good. It is incredibly good. But also it is very bad in excessive manners. And nowadays, most meat isn't all that organic anymore, and it is filled with hormones and other chemicals, which is incredibly bad for your body and also thereby for your mind, and also incredibly harmful for the environment, as we've clearly seen. So, if we know all that, then let me tell you something very interesting about fast food, for instance. Fast food, the average person roughly spends $1,200 a month on fast food, which is roughly $14,400 a year. And with that being said, if you would buy a cookbook or watch some videos about preparing your own meal and living and thereby not being quote unquote forced, or rather at least more dependent on, for instance, these fast food chains, you would also thereby reduce carbon emissions, and we'd also feel physically better, because the food that you're consuming then would be way better, and thereby being better for all. So another reason why I shouldn't consume fast food. Did you know that the CEO of McDonald's, the very CEO of McDonald's, is not consuming any McDonald's at all? And if the CEO of McDonald's is not consuming his own products, then why should you? So, in order to not only become ecologically more sustainable, we have got to start by our very own. We can look around us, we can try and curb stomp our emissions, we can try to reduce our carbon, but we also have got to look within in order to build a better future. Because in order to build a better environment, we have got to be fit for it, not only physically speaking with the technology that we have, but also emotionally ready for it. And we also have got to be incredibly cautious on if we're going to have to change from the digital, if we're going to have a digital change or not, because it may cause more problems than we have ever had. And I know this speech is a bit rushed and a bit disorganized, but I still want to thank you, because for me it was a very personal topic. Thank you.
Linus, thank you so much for your talk. I think it's a very vital subject. As I can see from you, you have your gaming headset on. It almost looks like you're in a gaming chair. You're probably very technically savvy. And when I was younger, I used to have this hyper focus on technology, have technolust and play and that. And when we're in that modus, sometimes we kind of get away from thinking about eating and going outside and the rest of that. So thanks for your awareness and raising some of those questions and concerns. The last thing I would say that popped into my mind of what you discussed is the wonderful thing about food and the emotional connection, and we are what we eat, is that growing your own food is like printing your own money. And if anybody has known during the pandemic, especially those of you in Italy, how true this is.